My name is Jordi Torrelles, and I am originally from Catalonia, in a small place, Lleida, very close to Barcelona, Spain. So please stay with me because I have tendency to roll the R's a lot. So please, sorry about this. I will try to do my best. So today with my colleague, Dr. Ahmed Mansour, we're going to explain you how we move a concept from the bench to the bedside to try to treat bladder cancer. So let me start. In 2016, together with a student of mine, Juan Ignacio Moliva, we were discussing how we could do to move the field of tuberculosis research forward. Yes, I mentioned tuberculosis. You mentioned why tuberculosis? What tuberculosis has to do with bladder cancer? So let me explain. So tuberculosis is a devastating disease that kills one person every 18 seconds. Think about it, every 18 seconds. So Juan and I, we were thinking what we could do to improve tuberculosis. And we thought, well, there is the BCG vaccine. But the BCG vaccine only produces 50% protection to an adult. This is like flipping a coin in the air and see what happens. So we were thinking, and then we realized that the BCG vaccine is given into the arm. I thought, if we can give it directly into the lung, where the tuberculosis disease happens, maybe we will be able to get better protection. But this is difficult to do. Why? Because BCG is a live-attenuated vaccine, and it has a series of toxic components that if you put it into the lungs, harms the lungs, making tissue damage. So after many trials and errors, we found a paper from 1950 that allowed us to first remove the toxic components out of the BCG vaccine, so we modified the BCG vaccine. When this modified BCG vaccine, we give it into animals, they were surviving better, they were very protected, and most importantly, they have reduction of tissue damage in the lungs. That is the hallmark of tuberculosis infection and disease. So we're very excited. We published everything. We presented to the scientific community. However, the tuberculosis vaccine pipeline is very slow and is very long. So our vaccine is still waiting to go into clinical trials in humans. So what happened? Time passed. My student graduated, moved to work at the National Institute of Health, and I moved here in San Antonio to become part of the Texas Biomed family. One day, over a coffee break, another student came to me and told me, you know, Jordi, you know that BCG is used for bladder cancer treatment, and you know that produces a lot of adverse effects, so maybe your modified BCG will work better. And first I thought, I can't believe that I didn't know about that before. Second, I got very excited. I went to the computer and I typed the words bladder cancer, San Antonio, expertise. And this is how I came across the name of Robert Svatek, that is the current department chair of the urology department at UT Health San Antonio. Robert could not come here today, but today we have my colleague and friend, Ahmed, that is going to tell you how a discovery that we did to treat tuberculosis now is going to be used to treat bladder cancer.
Thank you so much, Jordi. Really honored to be here today. And if Jordi is from Spain, I'm from Egypt. And guess what? Egypt is known to have the highest instance of bladder cancer all over the world. Why is that? It's historical. But believe it or not, the symptoms of bladder cancer were actually engraved on the walls of the temples of the ancient Egyptians thousands of years ago. Fighting bladder cancer has been my passion since I was in med school. And after I moved here to Egypt, bladder cancer has been my sole focus of practice and research. One of the most common types of bladder cancer, as you can see in the picture, is called non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. It's a mouthful, but it's a type of cancer that does not invade into the wall of the bladder, but rather stays within the lining of the bladder. So what is the problem? This cancer has a very peculiar tendency to recur and come back. 75% of patients present with this type of cancer, and they have to deal with these frequent doctor visits with recurrence of this kind of cancer. However, there is a very efficient and effective treatment that can prevent this cancer from coming back, which is BCG. BCG, when installed inside the bladder, can help prevent the cancer from coming back. The program is very tedious. It's a 3-year program in which the patients come in and take the medications every week in different intervals. So what is the problem? There is one big problem: the side effects. Almost no patient can survive the side effects of BCG treatment. 84% of the patients cannot complete the recommended 3-year treatment program for prevention of bladder cancer. So one day, I'm in a busy clinic, and I get a phone call from Robert Zvatek, my boss and my partner. And he tells me, I have found a treasure. I said, what? It's like Jordi has modified BCG in order to remove a certain amount of lipids, which will deliver effective and measured dose of BCG to the bladder without the side effects. Let's do a randomized trial. So I told him, no, let's test it in the lab first. And this is what happened. We have a mouse bladder cancer model in which we can create an environment similar to bladder cancer in a mouse. And we tested Jordi's modification of BCG, and we tested the normal BCG. And surprisingly, the modified BCG performed as well as the normal BCG, but critically, the inflammatory markers, which are responsible for the side effects, were drastically decreased. The results of this study was published last year, and now we are in the phase of launching this very exciting results to the next step, which is clinical trials. We're applying for funding to produce enough amount of vaccines in order to take this study to the next human clinical trial level. This is a story of the success of San Antonio's infrastructure to support San Antonio teams from all over the world in order to innovate and create solutions for patients, not just here in San Antonio, but all over the world. Jordi?
Thank you, Ahmed. Okay, so let us finish just to thank the San Antonio Medical Foundation that provide us with the funding to perform the clinical studies. And also tonight, if you are going to listen, you already listen a lot of incredible stories, and you're going to listen even more incredible story. But if you want to keep something from this talk today, is as a scientific researcher, basic research, how gratifying is that one thing that this innovation that you discover in your field is being used in another field to treat another disease. And this is what tuberculosis has anything to do and everything to do with bladder cancer. Thank you for your time.